Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Rammer, a Tier 7 Blitz Nation Collector Heavy, a vehicle which I wouldn't even have my worst enemies play. This tank is absolutely dookie balls, and I'll be letting you know why that is in today's video. Now, the reason we're actually breaking into this tank is because Wargaming is planning on selling it for the first time outside of its ridiculously impossible event, which was like a 0.05% drop chance. Well, they're going to be selling it in crates with a 3% drop chance fairly soon. I'm not sure how much the crates are going to cost, but you can assume that it's going to be around $100 to get your hands on this vehicle, guaranteed. Is this tank worth $100? No. Is this tank worth $20? No. I'd say it's worth about $5 on a good day. It's pretty mid. Let's start off by talking about its statistics. What does it have going for it? Well, the gun has 186 mils of pen on the standard, 230 on the gold, with 1880 DPM. Dispersion-wise, it's pretty average, and its aiming time is pretty poor, featuring 350 damage per shot and 7 degrees of gun depression. At least it has nice high explosive alpha at 450, and decent pen as well. I mean, the HE is actually quite nice, but unfortunately, everything else about the vehicle statistics are fairly mediocre. When we take a look at the mobility, it reaches a top speed of 34, reverses at 14, and has a power to weight of 17. So it has a decent power to weight ratio, but it literally cannot go faster than 34, which makes it slightly faster than a VK7201K. Well, here's a great example of something that you can compare the Rammer to, right? This is the Vulcan. It's a tank that's been in the game for literally like 7 years at this point, and it's a vehicle that is so forgotten and mediocre that nobody really even knows what it is. Well, let's actually take a look at the Vulcan's statistics and compare it to the Rammer really quickly. First of all, as we can see, 350 damage per shot, but don't worry, it has more standard pen with the same premium penetration. DPM is around the same, and while its dispersion is worse, and aiming time is worse, it actually has flat better on-movement dispersion, still allowing the Vulcan to feel at least somewhat accurate, but it's not very accurate. 6 degrees of gun depression versus the Rammer 7, but this tank goes 36 kilometers per hour with a similar power to weight ratio. I should also mention the Vulcan's main advantage is that it has really troll-spaced armor and 1700 health. That's an actually insane amount of health, especially when you realize the Rammer only has 1477. So the Vulcan is very similar statistically, and it's a vehicle that's been in the game unchanged for about 7 years. So yes, guys, if you want to get your hands on this vehicle, you're basically buying a worse version of a Tier 7 that's been in the game for forever. Don't worry, though. The Rammer must have armor, right? Oh, yeah, definitely. Look at this thing's super good armor against basically any Tier 7 heavy level of standard pen. The lower plate is about 100 millimeters effective. The upper, I don't know if you call that an upper plate, the upper hood is about 100 millimeters thick. The turret cheeks are about 120, and the hatch is about 150. I mean, it's not like there's one weak spot. It's like everything's a weak spot. The turret sucks. By the way, the mantlet also is incredibly weak, as we can see. The mantlet itself is only about maybe 200 thick, so if you're up against literally any Tier 8 heavy, let's say like, I don't know, how about an Astron Rex? I mean, it just goes right through. What is the point of having armor? By the way, this corner here is the weakest thing I've ever seen. Even if you're at this angle, it doesn't matter how sharp you angle it. If you show any portion of the front hull, you're a pen. Doesn't matter how steep the angle gets because it's just always a pen, as you can see. The tank has absolutely no armor going for it. Like, it's actually sad how poorly armored the Rammer is. And I just don't even understand why. Like, why, Wargaming, did we decide to make this the most dookie Tier 7 ever? The amount of work that was probably put into this vehicle to make it look cool, and effort, and all of this, just so that we could release an utter failure. Like, I'm glad it's not a Smasher or an Annihilator. You know, I'm glad that Wargaming didn't release another just completely overpowered tank, but why does it have no armor? Why is it so slow? If it had any one value going for it that was unique, it would be good. But, man, this tank stinks. But that's not going to stop me from trying to have some fun in gameplay. So let's see what we can do. Okay, well, we're on mines, which is alright, I guess. The tank has 7 degrees of gun depression, so you can work a ridgeline, but not very well. Alright, let's head into the front lines, and we'll see what we can exactly do. We have a VK36, VK3001D, and a KV2, and wow, they just have a bunch of heavies. 4 heavies in total. Well, you can see the power to weight of the rammer. Like, it's actually not that slow, which begs the question why they didn't just increase its top speed to 40, because then at least it would have had some mobility going for it, but no, unfortunately, you're stuck at 34 kilometers per hour. Oh, great, we're up against a T-29, which is literally one of the best Tier 7 heavies with a nearly impervious turret and solid levels of pen and everything else. Yeah, look at the whole armor on the T-29, bruh. And then you've got my goofy-aw tank. Hey, we got a bounce. Oh, look at that. We actually got a bounce. I'm just going to back up. We're going to wait here, aiming on the VK. Oh. We got the 1357 on the flank. I don't really know what I can do against this T-29. Like, if there is anything I can do, first of all, against the T-29. But, there you go. Nice 380 into the VK3001D. Oh, God. This T-29 is just going to dominate this game because I can't really counter it. Well, maybe we can get a shell into the Sturm Mill. Take a quick shot. I think that did hit. What are we doing? What? Why? Just why? Just why? Well, T-29 is probably going to try and hit one of our teammates here. We do have a KV-2 right here. I'm going to aim it on that. Hello. There you go. Nice 340 damage. I love that this tank only reverses at 14. Well, I don't know what to say about our team here, but we can aim it on the KV-2. Maybe not able to get a shell out just yet, but we'll wait. I'm going to just hope that the enemy team over-aggressive is... Okay. One good thing about this tank is that it does have spaced armor all over it, which means that high explosive shells, something from a KV-2, for example, really isn't going to do any damage to you. That is the one nice thing I can say about this tank, is that at least HE shells aren't going to do much damage at all. Apart from that, I really can't say there's... I really can't say there's anything truly remarkable about this tank. Well, KV-2 shoots my teammate, and he gets shot back. We have a VK-45 on the flank, and let's see, KV-2 backs up, aiming. I'm going to load a gold shell, just so we can guarantee that pen. And let's see, we got the Sturm Mill all the way back, and we got the Panzer IV-S, we got the rest of our team over here. Hoping that I could get a shell into the Stur. That player is stock, though, so... I don't want to be shot by that. I really don't. I'm going to move over here, and we're going to try and get a shell into the Sturm Mill. Don't block me. Don't... Alright, aiming. There you go. Nice 388. Not terrible. Our Panzer IV-S is pretty low at this point, and I'm just hoping that I can get another shell into the Sturm Mill. Aiming, aiming. There you go. Look at that. We're getting bounces. Whoa. Sturm Mill needs to go. Like that. That's the main... Okay, if the Sturm Mill is no longer here, and I can push the T-29. I like how I literally can't accelerate fast enough to shoot the T-29. Like, this is remarkable when you think about it. But there you go. We track him, and the IS does not pen him, of course. Very challenging shot, as always. Let's get into a rear side scrape here and try and get the Sturm Mill knocked out of the game. There you go. Well, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how bad your tank is. If you're a decent player and you know what you're doing, you can still obviously get some wins out. What's the goal here, T-29? You're going to YOLO me? Alright, well, I'm just going to track you. Angle? No. It doesn't matter what we do. We're going to be penned every single time. I also like it. We just have a forest witch camping and spawn. Truly a helpful teammate. Well, get out of the game. Once again, not a single bounce. Once we actually, like, show our hull. Well, we've done 3,400 damage, which isn't terrible. 350 alpha is at least enough that you can trade with your opponents. Where are we going? Where are we going, bro? Oh my god. This forest witch is gonna get me killed. Because he's so bad at the game that he's gonna camp and spawn in his almost full health tank. It's crazy to me that people like this exist. Okay, well, the VK-30 is a one-shot, and all I oh, well. Okay. Amazing play, Octavio. I don't even know what the goal was from that player, but let's go over here. Let's see, is the VK here? No. I would assume the VK is still off to this flank of the map, because that's where the player was last spotted. But honestly, I have no clue what the VK-45 is doing. I mean, this whole game has given me some brain rot, I'm not going to lie. Tier 7 and Tier 6 battles are always going to be like this, because, I mean, it's just fully expected. You over here? Hello? Like, where are... I would assume that if the VK was near the base cap, it would cap it. So, that player's probably... What the... Okay, so they're just AFK. Alright, well, there's a shell into the VK. And, obviously, I'm just going to farm out this player if I can. Alright, and there you go. Second shell into the VK. Alright, our Forest Witch, don't worry, guys. He's going to get him. Our Forest Witch is truly going to farm him out. Boom! Ooh, I damaged his ammo rack. Alright, well, let's see what we can do here. Got a couple seconds left. Bro, what is our Forest Witch doing? These are real players. These aren't bots. These are real human beings. I have no words. I don't need to call them bad, because you can make your own opinions. All I'm going to say is these are real human beings. Either way, yeah, there you go. There's your 5,200 damage game in the Forest Witch, where we ended up blocking 1,500. I hate when I do videos on tanks that I call bad, because every time I call a tank bad, I end up getting a result like this. And then you will read comments like, Droodles calls the tank bad, and then proceeds to do really, really well in it. Therefore, the tank's not bad. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how bad a tank is. If you're a good player, you can do well in it. The FE2 and 5 V183 and Waffenträger Alpha E100 are both the worst performing tier 10s in the game. But guess what? Fatness got over a 10,000 damage game in the 183. I've had multiple 9,000s and I think one 10k in the 183 myself. And I've even had an 8k in the Waffenträger. Like, you can still get high damage games if you play against people that don't know what they're doing. That's exactly what we just had there in the Rammer. That was clearly not a skilled enemy team. So you can do well in the tank, but I'm telling you that if you get your hands on this vehicle and you gamble for it, you're probably not going to have a whole lot of fun. Okay, game number 2 on Mayan Ruins. Another pretty solid matchup. Tier 8s, or not tier 8s, tier 7s and 6s up against us. We got Beauty Vulcan. Alright, well, I am going to make my way to mid is probably the play we're going to do here. And then we should play it by ear. What do we have? We got a Blasteroid, a Tiger P. Oh, they're all going to go town, aren't they? Alright, we're not going to mid. I don't know where to go. This is the problem with low-tier battles, is I'm a skilled player, obviously, but the problem is when you play with people that don't know where they're going, you get stuck in a situation where you don't know where to go. Because I'm expecting people that have brain cells to play their tanks to mid. But I'm probably fighting people in these tier, these lower tier matches that don't have enough brain cells to play their tanks in the right spot. So I'm probably going to roll around this corner, and yeah, there you go. We have a tank. We actually got a bounce. And we can see that our Tiger P got 2 bounces, which means that there's probably an E25 in that back bush. But, ow, 295. Oh, it's a Yag Panther. Bruh. What sucks is that I literally cannot spot that Yag Panther unless I move up to here. And that's exactly why I moved up, because the only way to spot these tank destroyers is to move... Oh my god, the Tiger's just sitting in the open. But the only way to reliably spot the tank destroyers is to put my tank in a position where I can see them. So that's what we've done here. Well, our Tiger P has decided that suicide is the correct answer. There he goes. Ooh, boy. Let's aim it on the Yag Panther lower plate. What are we doing? Well, you know what? I'll take it. We penned him. The Yag Panther is by far the biggest threat. I'm not worried about the KV-2 because a KV-2 camping in a bush is not really a scary threat to me. Let's try and side scrape. Oh, yeah. Look at that great side scraping that this tank has going for it. Don't worry, guys. We're going to get the bounce this time. Oh, yeah. Look at this amazing vehicle go. Oh, yeah. This tank's so disappointing. Like, we're in an absolute brain rot game here, and yet my armor is still not working at all for me. Like, it's sad. Oh, look, we got a bounce. He shot me in the track wheel for some reason. Well, a couple more seconds. We'll be able to aim it on the 45 TP again. Bonk. Oh, yeah. 330 damage. Well, we will get a pretty easy win here. As I told you, I'm not surprised the enemy team ended up playing towards this position. Playing high tiers, 282. Really, 282 from a 350. What I was saying is playing high tiers and then going to low tiers, you have to entirely change your playstyle up. Because when you're playing high tiers, you expect people to go more towards mid. But when you're playing low tiers, you have to expect them to go to the dumbest, most obvious spot. And that is where you're positioned. And that's exactly where the enemy went. They all went down the line they were positioned at. So, yeah. It's pretty funny when you think about it. Either way, we got a victory here and a decent result at that. Let's take a look at the post-game results here. 3,042 damage, which is pretty good. And, yeah, not bad at all. Not bad. We got a second class. I don't know what to say. The tank did fine, but at the end of the day, just don't pick it up. If you do, don't get mad at me, because I told you not to get it. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. That's the Rammer. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.